The D23 2024 Expo has officially passed! Don't know why I started that way. Hey everybody, the Walt Disney Company has a treasure trove of announcements lined up, covering everything from Marvel, Star Wars, and Pixar to their latest live-action and animated films. But the real question is, what will be the big surprise? First up, Moana is back, and why? Because of money. And she's not just the fearless explorer we all fell in love with, she's now a big sister in Moana 2. The ocean isn't the only thing that she's keeping an eye on. She's got a sister who means the world to her. And this time, Moana's mission is about finding more people beyond the horizon. But did someone say Maui? Of course, Moana's favorite demigod, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is back too. Because you're welcome. Set to hit the theaters on November 27, 2024, the sequel promises to take us on a brand new adventure across the vast and treacherous seas of Oceania. With a lineup of Grammy-winning composers including Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear. You know, the music is going to be nothing short of magical. And if you're wondering, is this going to be as good as the first one? Well, with such a talented team behind it, let's just say this movie might make some waves. Moving on. Now, while Moana is busy sailing the seas, Judy Hopps is hopping back into action in Zootopia 2. That's right, our favorite bunny cop is back. And she's got company, the sloth that stole our hearts and possibly our patience, Flash. Nick Wilde and all the usual suspects are returning. But there's a new character in town. Meet Gary, a snake voiced by none other than Ke-Huy Quan. Gary is a wanted reptile on the run, making him the most slippery character we've met yet. Zootopia 2 is expanding the world we know. The sequel dives into uncharted territory with a place called Marsh Market, a semi-aquatic area that is sure to add even more diversity to the Zootopia universe. The film is set to be released in November 2025, giving us a whole year to wonder what kind of chaos Judy and Nick will be chasing this time around. Easily one of the most hyped reveals of Disney's D23 showcase was the premiere of the first Daredevil Born Again trailer. The revival of the famed Netflix series that was canceled due to a deal expiration, and the rise of Disney Plus wanting to recollect all of its Marvel Infinity Stones. Now we know that Daredevil Born Again's release date, release window, is March 2025. The new trailer, which I'm not going to show here because it's very much pirated and Disney for some reason did not want to officially release it, channels the vibe of the first 3 seasons, especially season 3, and we are going back to those bloody days again, it seems. This is of course after a bizarre idea that had Daredevil returning in a much different form, cutting almost all the old cast members and making it sort of a courtroom drama? That entire concept was scrapped, and new showrunners and the old cast were brought in for Born Again. The trailer reveals the return of Jon Bernthal's Frank Castle, as the Punisher will have a role in this season. There's also a jailed Bullseye played by Wilson Bethel, who has returned after his excellent turn in Season 3. White Tiger and Muse are also briefly seen. Daredevil remains a fan-favorite MCU series, despite being very much detached from the larger MCU storylines, and it did seem very dead after the mass removal from Netflix. With enough fan demand, Disney brought it back, and with enough pressure, presumably even from the cast, this, true to the original version, was formed. Speaking of MCU, Captain America 4 is on the way, and it's bringing something old, something new, and something seriously red. Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. The legendary Harrison Ford is stepping into the role of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, now transformed into the raging Red Hulk. If you're wondering just how far Ford will go in this role, Anthony Mackie, our new Captain America, has confirmed that Ford takes his performance to a whole new level. Captain America Brave New World is hitting theaters on February 14, 2025, and Mackie's Sam Wilson is trading in his Falcon wings for the iconic shield, and it looks like he's got some heavy lifting ahead of him. The plot will dive into international espionage and the quest for a new element called adamantium. Yes, another super metal that every world power wants to get their hands on, as the political fallout from the events of the Eternals will also play a big part, with President Ross, aka Red Hulk, stirring the pot in more ways than one. Now let's talk about the Fantastic Four First Steps, screened during San Diego Comic-Con last month. And while the footage did not leak shortly after, it was a pretty terrible recording. The same teaser was shown at D23 last night, and a much better quality version has now found its way online. The footage introduces us to the latest take on Marvel's first family, as Reed, Sue, Ben, and Johnny prepare to embark on a mission to outer space that will change their lives forever. We don't get to see any of the heroes in superhero mode, aside from a glimpse of the Thing in silhouette, but we do get a first look at Galactus right at the end, along with another character who wasn't visible in the SDCC version. Herbie the robot. Kevin Feige recently confirmed that the movie will take place in an alternate universe, but we know that Marvel's first family will appear in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So, we wouldn't be surprised if they find their way into the main MCU timeline by the end of this movie. Now, guess who's stepping into the Star Wars galaxy? None other than Jude Law. Yay! And no offense, Jude Law. And he's trading his usual British charm for a lightsaber. Jude Law is playing a Jedi in Star Wars Skeleton Crew, and the first trailer just dropped. But will this be the saving grace that Disney Star Wars desperately needs? Fans have been burned before, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Coming this December on Disney+, Skeleton Crew promises a throwback to those classic adventure stories that we all grew up with. Well, this show is serving up that vibe, but with a galactic twist. The trailer kicks off with a teacher dropping off some wisdom about how a single test can set the course for your future. They're off chasing real adventures, and what do they stumble upon? A Jedi temple, or at least they think it is. It's actually a starship that catapults them into galaxies unknown. Now, if that isn't enough for your Star Wars fix, The Mandalorian and Grogu are heading to the big screen. The duo is back, and while details are as scarce as Beskar steel, we do know that the movie is set to release in May 2026. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are tight-lipped about the plot, but they couldn't resist dropping a few hints at the recent D23 event. The teaser gave us a quick recap of everything that happened from seasons 1 through 3, plus a bit of the Book of Boba Fett. But then it jumped into a full-on preview of what's to come. We're talking Grogu in a full suit of Mandalorian armor, AT-ATs stomping around, and a planet that looks suspiciously like Hoth. Oh, and Zeb, snowtroopers, and Anzellans are back. This might just be the Star Wars movie we've been waiting for. First up, the epic world of Pandora is expanding once again with Avatar 3, Avatar: Fire and Ash, and it's set on December 19, 2025. Now, you might think you know what's coming, but James Cameron himself says think again. He's been at this for 18 years. And what has all this time and effort produced? Well, Cameron promises new biomes, new cultures, and some mind-blowing organic sailing ships. Cameron even flew from New Zealand to reveal the official title and show off some stunning concept art. They're still using papyrus though. He was joined by Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana, who were just as excited as we are. They couldn't show any footage, guess we have to be patient. But they did drop some hints about the film's themes. Now, the Toy Story gang is coming back, and this time they're taking on technology in Toy Story 5. Yep, Woody, Buzz, and Jessie will be back in action, and they've got their hands full of a new generation of toys, electronic ones, and 50 Buzz Lightyears stuck on toy mode. Andrew Stanton, the genius behind WALL-E and Finding Nemo, is writing and directing, so you know it's going to be good. Tom Hanks and Joan Cusack are also returning, because honestly, can you even imagine Toy Story without Woody or Jessie? The film is set for a summer 2026 release. There's no denying that a huge number of those who will go to see Toy Story 5 will be existing fans of the franchise, and many will have seen the first movie as children. So, nostalgia will be a powerful tool during the marketing campaign. On top of that, The Incredibles are back, baby, and this time they're ready to save the day once again. Pixar just dropped the bombshell that The Incredibles 3 is officially in the works, with none other than Brad Bird returning to direct. You remember Brad Bird, right? He's the mastermind behind the first two movies that ranked in $1.87 billion combined. But we don't know much else. The release date? Still a mystery. The voice cast? Also under wraps. All we know is that the Parr family is gearing up for another round of action-packed adventures. The grid is back online. Tron, Ares, Jared Leto steps into the role of Ares, an evil AI who's about to make the leap from the digital world to the real one. And at the end, a title card revealed that the score was composed by 9 Inch Nails, following Daft Punk's footsteps, which we can all agree. Tron Legacy was one of the best soundtracks created, period. But 9 Inch Nails can be the perfect replacement. Let's not forget that they won Oscars for their scores for 2010's The Social Network and 2020's Soul. The footage sees Leto's heading to the real world in order to look for something important known as the Permanence, as well as light cycles and recognizers being in the real world and causing damage, including cutting cars in half and ending on the note of Bridges Flynn greeting Ares in his amazing white robe. New character details are also revealed for the threequel, with Evan Millers playing Julian Dillinger, a descendant of the original movie's villain, and Greta Lee playing a human named Eve Kim, who is a programmer whose greatest work provides a path for Ares to come into the real world. And this movie is set to drop in October 10th, 2025. so mark your calendars. Frozen 3 is officially happening. Wow, who saw it coming? With a release date set for November 2027. Yep, you'll have to wait a while, but according to Disney's CCO, Jennifer Lee, it'll be worth it. In fact, it might take 2 more movies to answer all the questions left hanging after Frozen 2. That's right, Frozen 4 could be on the horizon too. The concept art revealed at D23 gave us a sneak peek of Anna and Elsa reconnecting at a mysterious yellow river, but there's a shadowy figure with horns lurking in the background. Who or what could that be? It looks like we're in for another round of icy adventures. Now, Marvel Animation, did you ever think that you would see Wolverine's claws back in action after Magneto took them away? Yeah, the footage from X-Men 97 Season 2 just dropped. It's clear that mutants are gearing up for something epic. At D23 2024 Marvel Animation panel, fans got a taste of what's to come in X-Men 97 Season 2. The show, a continuation of the beloved 90s X-Men, the animated series. Although Disney Plus has yet to reveal the premiere date, anticipation is at an all-time high. The Season 1 finale left us hanging, but the new footage gave us just enough to keep excitement on. The mutants are sporting some fresh threads straight out of Grant Morrison's era of X-Men comics. Gone are the old spandex suits. Instead, we're getting sleek, black leather outfits that scream, "We mean business." The footage introduces new characters, including Danger, the Danger Room turned sentient. Imagine a training room so advanced that it becomes self-aware and really angry. Danger looks like she's ready to give the X-Men a run for their money. Speaking of new faces, remember Polaris? Magneto's green-haired daughter. She made a cameo in Season 1, but now she's back in a big way. Her metal-manipulating powers are on full display, and it's clear she's inherited more than just her father's hair color. Fans of the X-Men comics will recognize new villains who are ready to bring trouble. Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth are back, and they're not here to make friends. If a quick glimpse of Nightcrawler in Japanese garb is any hint, the X-Men might be heading to Japan, where these villains are bound to cause some serious chaos. But while X-Men 97 is getting all the love, let's not forget about another major Marvel project that got its time in the spotlight at D23. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man! This isn't your usual Spidey tale. Gone is the Iron Man mentorship. Instead, Peter Parker is being guided by none other than Norman Osborn, played by Coleman Domingo. Perfect casting. If you're wondering how that's going to work, you're not alone. Norman's track record isn't exactly Mentor of the Year material, but that's exactly what makes it so intriguing. The animation style is very comic book inspired with cell animation, with shots split into comic panels to evoke a feeling of reading a comic. So, that might be pretty cool to see. In the end, D23 2024 gave us just enough. With all the gems in the pipeline, it's safe to say that Disney Plus might be gearing up.